What's up, guys? Keyshawn Uchiha here, back at you with another new OT Universe What If due to the live broadcast yesterday, if y'all was there. And this is going to be one of the what ifs that was in there. Going to be, what if Naruto was the Death God? Now, we was collaborating, talking about it and how would it go. And I said I would change some stuff about it, but this will be an 18 plus. And it's going to be a lot of stuff. It's going to be a lot of sadness and stuff. So if you're an emotional person who, doesn't like seeing people die automatically and saying, damn, this is too tough, please get the fuck out the kitchen because shit's about to get spicy. Oh, this will be an 18 plus. So you have been warned. Or probably not. Depends on the situation of how I do it. But let's get this started. And how would this happen? And how will he be the Death God? Now, we start off with, you could say, the Nine Tails attack. Now, as it all starting, Kushina, you could say the Death God is being reincarnated after, having a battle in a great war with, you couldn't say, other gods and stuff and all that stuff. And we're gonna say Kishan Uchiha is watching gods fight and all that stuff, and they're pretty much having a bloody battle. Now, this is where all the gods, you could say Zeus and all them, is dying and all that stuff. And Kishan Uchiha, he's pretty much saying, well, that was pretty much a wasteful fight. And he pretty much start to reincarnate all of them. And this is where they're all, being reincarnated into the Naruto universe. Now, the Death God, he pretty much died. And he's being reincarnated. And he's being reincarnated as Naruto. Now, Naruto's not going to have the memories of remembering, but he will have the Death God powers, you could say. Such as Death Touch, Death Sleep, as he can put his victims to sleep and pretty much, scythe their shit. Death Sense, when he can sense someone's dying and they're about to die and stuff. And also, he can fly with wings. He will have wings to fly, and he will have a scythe, pretty much. And he can summon scythes to pretty much attack his enemies. And if anyone get touched by the scythe or get touched by the little ciphers, will turn to dust, you could say. Now, as Naruto's being born, this is where Naruto's being reborn, and Naruto here is black, and his eyes is going to be black too. Now, this is where Kushina and this, you could say this is where, Naruto is crying and stuff, and Kushina is pretty much looking at her baby and stuff, and she's smiling, saying this is her boy. Now, this is where you could say Minato is laying and already dead, and Kushina's about to die soon. Now, this is where, Kushina putting her life force and saying, putting her protection so Naruto won't get hurt or anything. And she pretty much kisses her baby and dies. Now, this is where Hiruzen sees the baby and begins to, pick up the baby. Now, as Hiruzen is seeing the baby, he's pretty much about to take the baby back until Naruto touches Hiruzen. And this is where Hiruzen dies. Automatically, yes, I know. The Death Touch, you remember? It's his Naruto's powers, you could say, of the Death God is already manifesting, and Hiruzen is the first victim who got murked by it. Now, this is where, Hiruzen's already dead, and he died, which, the ninjas are coming and they're seeing what the hell just happened. How did Hiruzen die? And why is that baby there? Now, this is where they grab the baby and pretty much take Naruto and bring him out. Now, everybody thinks it's Naruto, so this is where they're all hating him and stuff. And Naruto is pretty much, growing up and dealing with the hate and stuff, and people calling him a Nine-Tails brat and all that stuff. Because he was born on the same thing, and the Hokage died in there, so it's like much worse, you could say. Now, Naruto is pretty much, going home as a kid. And this is where you could say a bunch of kids is bullying Hinata. Now, this is where Naruto starts to punch one of the boys in the face, and the boy hits the ground, not getting up. Now, these are where the other boys start, saying, what the hell? it's Naruto's, brand about to turn jumping until, they're punching him and it's not phasing Naruto. This is where Naruto, start touching them and he kills them. And he can turn off the death touch, but he doesn't know how to turn it off now, so he's pretty much killing people. Now, they're pretty much lifeless and they can't move. Until, this is where, Hinata's, thanking him. And this is where a bunch of ninjas come in and start to beat down Naruto. Now, Naruto is not, taking the punches. Like, it's not even phasing him. Because, like I said, his powers is, manifesting. And, Hinata's telling him to stop, which Naruto's saying it's okay. And he begins to, touch one of them and they hit the ground. And Naruto's pretty much draining their life force and taking their souls. He's pretty much absorbing their souls every time he kills them. And he can make them, you could say, bring him back to life wherever he wants and make him a part of his dead army, you could say. Now, this is where the Anbus are, backing up for Naruto and about to kill him until, we're going to say the Anbu come in and restrain Naruto, pretty much, holds his arms down and pretty much can't let him touching him. Which Naruto is, saying sorry over again because he didn't mean to kill them. Now this is where they have him in the cell and, the people are saying he's too dangerous stuff. We don't want him in here and stuff. Now this is where we're going to say Lady Tsunade is the Hokage much earlier than usual. So she's pretty much saying she has nothing to do. She doesn't know what to do, so she's going to have to kick Naruto out. Now this is where she exiled Naruto, which the villagers are all happy that Naruto's getting exiled. Now, as Naruto's getting exiled, Naruto's just looking down saying, maybe I do deserve this. I killed them when I knowing what I was doing. Now, we switch to Sasuke, and Sasuke is, looking as a kid. And he's looking at Naruto getting exiled. You could say, getting kicked out of the village. Now, this is where, Sasuke begins to walk away until, he sees his brother Itachi. And he says, oh, hey, big brother Itachi, are we going to train? Which Itachi says, not now, Sasuke. I have to escort Naruto to make sure he be safe. Which, this is where, Sasuke is getting a little bit, upset and angry. And this is where you could say, start manifesting lightning. And he just start screaming, he throws a lightning bolt without knowing. And he destroys the tree. You could say, shock the tree. And he doesn't know what the hell is going on. Now, this is where Sasuke is being the reincarnation of Zeus. Yeah, the reincarnation of Zeus, you could say. Now as you could say, Naruto's getting exiled. All the kids are saying, bye, and pretty much saying, like, not saying anything, just throwing food and rocks at him and stuff. Now, Naruto's pretty much we're gonna say in the wagon, and they're pretty much exiting now, and they pretty much saying, well, this is it. Naruto Uzumaki, which Naruto just says thank you, and he begins to breaks the things, and unleashes himself from the binding, and begins to walk on his own. Now, this is where he's going and stuff. He can start walking. And this is where we're gonna say Hinata comes in, and she starts running. This is where Naruto continues going in. He meets off to the line, and he's just looking and saying, where am I supposed to go? Where am I supposed to stay? How am I going to survive out here? Now, this is where Hinata is, running and saying Naruto. In which Naruto's saying, what are you doing here? Ain't you supposed to be with your Hyuga clan? Which she's saying that she wanted to just stay with him. He's the only one who actually cared for her and actually defended her from those bullies and stuff. Which Naruto is saying that, if she stick by him, she's just gonna end up dead and stuff. Which she says, she, pretty much come close by him saying that she believed that he's gonna keep her safe no matter what. Which Naruto begins to cry. Now, this is where Naruto says, well, just don't touch my hands or anything. I don't want you to die like them. But she says, okay. She started thinking, maybe we can find you some gloves, or we're going on the way. Which Naruto says, yeah. Now this is where they're going with each other. And they find a place with gloves, and they pretty much buy some black gloves. Now Naruto puts on the gloves, and he begins to touch things, and they're not dying. And he's, excited that he can't kill nothing with his hands. Now they begins to start walking and trying to find a village. Now this is where, the Hyugas are saying that Hinata is not here, and where the hell did she go? Which Neji begins to say, my sister, she says she's going to Naruto. She says she's going to go with Naruto. We don't need her. Which, this is where the head of the Hyuga bitch slap Neji is saying, you fool. Hinata is a prize for the Hyuga. She's the one who's, and explaining about the whole thing. And Neji is, agreeing to see, saying, we don't need her, she's useless. He begins to walk away. Now, this is where, he goes to Late Night, saying that he's going to go bring half of his Hyugas to go get Hinata back from Naruto. Or go get her from, away from Naruto. Which, Late Night is saying that she can't let them do that, which he says he's going to do whatever he wants. Now, this is where we're going to say the head of the the head of the Uchiha, I forgot his name, but he begins to say that if you give us back our status, we can pretty much make sure the Hyuga and no one else will, stop, going against the rules and thinking you're weak, which Lady she begins to think about it and says, okay. And she gives the ranks back to the Uchiha, and they become the Uchiha police force and all that. Now this is where the head of Uchiha, I forgot his name, begins to, tell them to go after the Hyuga and make sure they don't go out, say, to get killed or captured or anything. And also to keep the public in check. And this is where Hiruzen is realizing that his plan is completely failed now, because since Naruto's gone and all this stuff is getting out of hand, he can't really do anything. And if he's trying to do nothing, he knows he's going to get arrested automatically, because the head of the Uchiha is on his ass like grass, you could say, and investigating on him. Now, this is where Itachi, you could say, is training with Sasuke. And as he's training with Sasuke, Sasuke is pretty much saying that he can summon lightning, or create lightning and stuff. Which, this is where Itachi's saying, so, kind of like, so you can make electric? You have lightning release? He says, no, I don't use chakra. And he says, here. And he begins to form a lightning bolt, and he throws it at a tree, pretty much making it explode, or shocking, pretty much making it go fast, with Itachi impressed and saying, this might be a Kinkai you might have, or something. Which Sasuke is saying, so I have a Kinkai? Do you have the same thing too, brother? Which Itachi says no. Which this is where, Itachi says, this is only a gift of yours. Don't be showing it out like that. Which Sasuke, is agreeing upon and happy that his brother acknowledged him. Now, this is where Lady Tsunade calls in Shisui and Itachi, and they're calling them in to pretty much to bring back Naruto and Hinata, because she's going to make sure the village respects Naruto, because they need the Nine Tails of Cherokee, and also they need to get Hinata back before they head to any other village and, be with them. And this is where Itachi and Shisui agrees and begins to get going. Now this is where Naruto and we're gonna say pretty much Hinata is at some, you could say at some cabin, at abandoned cabin, at some abandoned house, you could say, or a cabin with like all the stuff there. This is where Naruto begins to say, make sure to relax. I'm going to try to get some food or something. And she says, okay. Now, as Naruto's going, he sees a rabbit, and he begins to looks at it and begins to just think, just like concentrate, and he begins to say sleep, and the rabbit pretty much passed out. And this is where Naruto grabs it, and he snaps the rabbit's neck. Now, as Naruto's breaking the rabbit, he begins to chop wood down and begin to make, you could say, begins to start cooking food. Now, about to cook the food now. Naruto is thinking to himself, like, I kind of don't know how to do skin a rabbit. If only some way, which this is where Naruto looks behind that you could say house, and he sees a graveyard site. He sees a site. Two graves, and it says, for my dear wife, Requisha. No, I'm joking. Not Requisha, but Blossom, for my dear wife Blossom, and for my dear daughter, Puddle. Puddle. Well, you could say. Now, this is where Naruto is saying, what kind of names are those? And he begins to touch his grave, which this is where they begins to come out. Now, they're pretty much coming out and coming out for air and stuff, and they look like they're brand new. Like their skins are all reformed, perfectly fine and stuff, and they look like they're brand new, but they're naked. So Naruto begins to blush and look away and saying, "Oh my God," which they're saying, "What? All I remember is someone killing us," and this is where they ask, what happened? This is where Naruto is thinking, I can bring people back to life. Maybe I can control my powers, he's thinking. Now, this is where Naruto, begins to say, hold on, let me get you something to cover up, and he covers them both up. Now, Naruto pretty much saying that they died, and he doesn't know how they died, and they're pretty much saying, oh, see, now, this is where, Naruto is saying, is this was your house before you died? Which they're saying, yes. I'm surprised it's still here. Which Naruto's saying, huh. Now, Naruto begins to, me and Hinata, we're going to stay here. We're just going to stay here, and then we're going to leave your house. But first, I need to cook some food for us, which this is where she sees Naruto having trouble cook the weapon, which she says, I can help you with that, and she begins to help him how to cook the rabbit, and then making rabbit stew. Now, they're all eating, and pretty much, until, you could say Blossom she's thanking him for, bringing them back, and also, where's her husband, which Naruto is saying that he doesn't know. All he saw is the graves, and also, this was trying to stay here for a while, so they can figure out some way else to go. Now, this is where she is, you could say, saying, oh, okay, and explaining that before they died, they was this house, and they was pretty much living here and enjoying the view and all this stuff, and there's a secret mountain waterfall where they can, clean themselves and stuff, which Naruto says, oh, okay, thank you. Now we're going to switch to Jiraiya, and Jiraiya is pretty much coming in to Lady Tsunade and asking, what the hell, where the hell is his godson? Because I heard he got exiled, which Lady Tsunade is saying, I'm already ahead of you. I'm bringing him back to the Leaf Village, because if we lose the Nine-Tails asset, then we're pretty much done for. Which Jiraiya is thinking that he's not a weapon, but he doesn't deserve to get kicked out of the village just because of a few deaths. Naruto doesn't even know. He probably doesn't know what he is, which Lady Tsunade is saying, what is he then? And this is where Jiraiya is saying that he's the death god, the reincarnation of the death god. Now, this word's from Nationality is wide-eyed, saying, "The Death God? You mean, yes, there was, you remember how Ruzin was talking about there was an old war in the Shinobi world of gods fighting with Zeus and Hades and Poseidon and all of them? Well, when they all died, pretty much it was all getting reincarnated into people for this 1 million years. In this 1 million years, this is where people are being reincarnated into the gods. And Naruto is the reincarnation of the Death God, which this is where she knows that, which she says, so what does that mean? Which Jiraiya stands up and saying, that means if we don't get him back and he be in another village, he could be used to destroy us in another village without taking his sweat. Which this is where Aishinai is saying, thank God that Shisui and Itachi is already on their way to try to get them back. Now, this is where we switch back to Naruto, and Naruto is pretty much, saying stuff, which, Blossom saying, I'm glad that y'all, enjoy the meal. Now, this is where Blossom asks Naruto, why does he wear the gloves, which Naruto is pretty much saying that he doesn't know what is he, but every time he touches things, they die instantly. And this is where Blossom's saying, kind of like a death touch. Now, Naruto looks and saying, kind of like that. And Blossom's saying, I see. And she says, well, maybe if you just calm down and find a way, maybe you can, can take off the gloves and one day touch someone without killing them. Which Naruto smiles and says, yeah. Now, they all go to sleep and stuff, and this is where Naruto's headed out to get some fresh air. And this is where Susui and Itachi appears themselves and says, Naruto Uzumaki, you're coming with us back to the Leaf Village, which Naruto is asking, why am I going back? Which Itachi is just saying, you just have to come with us. Now this is where Naruto is saying, so y'all can kill me for the people I killed. And this is where Itachi is saying, no, not like that, which this is where Naruto is getting more pissed off, saying, so what then? You haven't told me. And this is where Naruto begins to summon the scythe and be pretty much getting pissed off and saying, if y'all want to kill me, then y'all might as well, because I'm gonna die having a fight. And begins to, hold the scythe behind his back. Now, this is part 1 of what if Naruto was the Death God. If you like, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. But I'm Keishan Uchiha. Thanks for watching, and peace out, guys.
It looks like you lost another one.